Welcome to Job Tales, the podcast that tells personal stories about all kinds of jobs existing around the world. Stefano studied medicine in Peru and became a medical doctor after 7 years of studies. He wishes to specialize in neurology. His dream job? To combine clinical work with research. In my interview with Stefano, I ask about his personal curriculum, what it takes to become a doctor, what skills, hard and soft, are required, and what has he learned from the past. Enjoy this episode of Job Tales. And Stefano, you have studied in Peru?
Yes, I study in Peru. Yes, I study medicine, human
Okay.
medicine in Peru. In Peru is 7 years, no, the medical career.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided I was always interested to get into research when I was doing during my medical studies.
Yeah.
So, and actually, my dream job is to do clinical work combined with research. No? So, during my medical studies, I didn't have that experience or contact with research. So, when I was in the last years of my medical studies, I found an opportunity to get involved in research, and I took it. And
Mm.
since then, I have been in the path of research, no, for now.
Yeah. Okay. So when we're looking back at your studies, so you finished high school, right? And
Yes.
then, so how old were you when you started medicine?
When I started, I had 17 years.
17 years. Okay. So from 17, then so it's 7 years. So you do, how many years do you do of, the basic studies, medicine studies?
So medicine is 7 years in total. So first you do 3 years of basic science, then you do 3 years of clinics, and then you do 1 year of internship where you are in the hospital basically.
Okay. And when you say clinic, it is everything related to, let's say, hospital.
Yes, exactly. So the first years is more like anatomy, physiology, histology, all the basic courses of medicine.
Yeah.
And then in the clinical part, you go to the hospitals and you start to work with the patients. You start to practice, let's say,
Yeah.
with the patients, no, under the guidance of a doctor.
And this is always generalistic medicine. So you touch on a lot of different fields.
Yes, exactly. You see all the medical fields in general. So yes, it's very generalistic actually.
Okay. Can you tell me what you liked when you were studying?
I love neurology. Actually, that's the specialty that I would like to start soon.
Neurology. So neurology is the study of
So it's basically the study of diseases and conditions that affects the brain
the brain.
organically. Mhm.
Everything related to brain. Okay.
Brain and spinal cord, no, as well.
Yeah. Okay. A very intricate subject for sure. Did you find any subjects particularly difficult during your studies?
During my studies, yes, actually, one of the most difficult subject was pharmacology. Actually,
Ah,
during the first 3 years, no, anatomy and pharmacology, no, because
okay.
there was a lot of content to memorize and to learn, no.
Hmm.
So yeah, those courses were like a filter course, no. A lot of people were like repeating the years
Oh
when they
yeah.
were taking these courses. Yes.
So those are the toughest ones for not for only for you, but for many other students, if I
Yes, exactly,
understand.
exactly.
Anatomy
And pharmacology.
and pharmacology. So pharmacology is everything related to like medicines and pharmaceuticals. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. It's
Okay.
basically, yeah, exactly. Basically knowing the components, how where they interact and the effects, basically. Mhm.
Wow. Lots of chemistry, I imagine. I mean, some
Lots of,
basics.
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of chemistry is understanding. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there's really like a lot of, because I'm trying to understand, from a perspective of a young person who would like to start medicine,
Mhm.
maybe what should they expect actually when they study medicine? And what are maybe the stumbling blocks that they should be aware of when you're studying?
First, well, you will need to study a lot. Actually, I mean that's one of the myths, and actually it's true. No, you will have to read and to study a lot in general to memorize a lot
Yeah.
of things. But also there are a lot of subjects that are very logic. I mean, you don't need to just memorize, but you have to think. No? So it's very important to learn how to use all the knowledge that you have in order to, for example, achieve and to reach a diagnosis of the patient. No? So it's not just
Hmm.
memory, but also critical thinking.
Critical. Yeah. Okay. Analysis and
Mhm.
so. You did 7 years, and over the course of that period of time, did you know already what direction you wanted to take in medicine, or did you want to stay general?
So at the beginning, when I started during the first years, I was actually planning to become an oncologist,
Ah,
like go for cancer. I mean,
okay.
I had the idea of like doing research and maybe finding a cure or something like that. No, it was like that was my dream. No, when I was just starting. No?
Yeah,
But when I was in second year of medical school, I was taking neuroanatomy, and that's the moment when I discovered that actually I would like to become a neurologist. No? During this course, I had the opportunity to have a brain in my hands. No, so for me was like incredible having the memories and having the life of a person, no, in my own hands. No? And
yeah.
it was very fascinating and interesting to learn how this works, no? Basically.
My next question is about jumping now from studying to working. What was
Mhm.
your first job when you came out of university?
So actually, I consider my first job when I was doing my medical thesis. I mean, I was not getting paid. Actually, it was at honorem, but that was the first job I was doing when I finished my studies. No, officially, I didn't have my degree because
Hmm.
I had to do the thesis first and to defend it. But it was still like a research job. No, I was doing the recruitment of the patients in the hospital in the mornings. Then I was going to the laboratory at my university to run the samples, to analyze them. So it was a full time job basically,
Hmm.
and it was my first job in somehow, no, and in research especially.
Yeah. So that lasted a year.
That actually was a little bit more. I would say, yeah, it was a year and a half basically.
Okay. So you really need to be determined to become a doctor because it is a long curriculum and a lot of commitment. I mean, 7 years of your life, and you haven't even started working.
Mhm.
Is it? Were you expecting this, and was it clear to you from the beginning?
Yes, actually, that's something that everybody was were telling me actually when I decided to go for medicine. I mean, they were always asking me, if I was sure that to study medicine because of the long time. But yes, I mean, for me, I'm not the person that is thinking in the end or finishing things. I mean, just thinking on the final outcome, but actually, I like to enjoy the journey,
Yeah,
So, yeah, and medicine is a career for all life, actually. So you never end
yeah.
learning or studying. No, we are always students, basically.
Yes, this is a yeah very important too. Like conferences, being up to speed of the latest state of art technologies too. Because
Mhm.
and that is my next question. Like, how does technology affect your field? Because I imagine there must be so many innovative treatments and technologies, and also AI and virtual reality coming in. Do you see that in your line of work?
Yes, definitely. I mean, right now in neuroscience specifically, AI, virtual reality are like very important tools that are going to, I think they're going to revolutionize the field. No, I mean, the AI are going to help to understand better how the neural connections work actually because I mean we are not able to understand it by itself. AI might be a tool to allow us to reach the next level on that,
Oh.
and virtual reality actually is a very interesting tool as well. I mean, in my laboratory we have been working with that, and it's interesting because it's going to change the way how we teach patients, for example, how we explain different medical conditions that they might have with virtual reality, but also
Mm.
how we teach medicine in the universities, and also it's going to change the way how we do research as well. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting the next years.
And can you give me an example, like a practical example of how this changes? For instance, the relationship with the patient that you were mentioning.
For example, well, I'm talking in some years in the future,
Yes.
maybe here in Switzerland, in the US, no, in developed countries. For example, when we need to explain to a patient that they have a special disease, and we need to explain where it's located and how this happened, It will be easier if, for example, the patient has a VR headset and we can show them with videos and figures more or less about the disease that they have. No? So I think that the knowledge or the transmission of knowledge to the patient is going to be facilitated by these techniques. No?
So it gives you, it creates the reality around you through the visual headset on the particular disease, for instance, in that particular part of your body.
Exactly.
Wow, fascinating. And how about AI? So artificial intelligence. Do you know already how this is going to pan out in the future, helping the medical sector?
That's an interesting question. Yes, I mean, I think it's going to help in order to more in an analysis, in an analytical part in the research. I'm not sure exactly in details on that, but definitely, I mean, in now we are like in the entering into the domains of big data science, like analyzing huge amount of data that we have.
Yeah.
And I think that AI may help developing or designing algorithms that are going to be able to are going to help us not to understand better like
Mm,
neural connections or maybe predictors for the responsiveness of a treatment that maybe we are not able to do it by ourselves. No?
fascinating, eh? Like it's so much that we still don't know. Maybe now, if we meet again in 2030,
Yeah.
2032, there will be maybe a totally different conversation, I'm sure. So now we are at the end of your studies. You've done your year of practical work. So you have been able to interact with patients. What happened next?
So normally in Peru, when you finish the medical career, you have to do a well. It's not mandatory, but normally everybody does it. Is to do a rural service. So you go to the mountains or to the jungle in Peru, or to very far areas, and you work there for 1 year, no, as a generalist, basically.
Okay.
And after that, you are able to apply for the residency in Peru, no, to do the specialization in Peru. Other people choose to go to, I mean, abroad, to go to Spain, for example, because of the proximity with the language and the
Yeah.
culture, or to go also to the US or maybe other countries, no, Brazil, maybe Germany or the UK as well. No? And then they start with the residency, no, that might take between 3 to 6 years, no,
Oh,
depending of
wow.
the yeah, depending on the country and depending of the specialization, basically.
Right. So you picked Switzerland,
Yes.
as you do. And what drew you to Switzerland besides for the fact that you did have a citizenship there?
Uh-huh. Well, actually, I mean, I was already thinking like to do clinical work and research, and here in Switzerland, it's possible to do it. And also, there is a lot of investment in research. There is a lot of opportunities to grow as a professional, especially in the field in which I am interested. No, and well,
Mm.
of course, having the nationality was a plus, no, to do it. No?
Yes, for sure.
So I took this possibility. No, however, I mean, just having the nationality it doesn't open you all the doors immediately, no, because there is the language barrier, for example. No, I mean, in Peru we speak Spanish and we have English as a second language. Some of us, but then Italian, French, or German. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you study in a French or German school or Italian school, you're not going to learn it. No? So that is a huge barrier actually, no, that I
Especially
have.
because the language is very technical. The vocabulary is very specific. It's not just like having a very casual conversation with a friend, right?
Exactly. First, you need to learn the casual language, and then you need to also learn the technical, no?
All the technical aspects.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And you need
So,
both.
yeah. So, is your work in French?
So yeah, I work in French, but mostly in English actually.
Okay.
So when I
That
interact with,
helps.
yeah, that helps a lot, yeah, actually, especially at the beginning, no, because when I started my work here, I was starting to learn French actually, so I couldn't communicate with the participants unless they speak English. So it was a little bit tough. Now, when I have some participants, I prefer to speak in French, no, to practice more, no.
Yeah.
But for example, with my boss or with my colleagues, I speak basically in English.
Yeah. And tell me, when now you say you want to do more clinical work and research, what does that consist of and where are you working right now?
Well, right now I'm working in the eye hospital of Lausanne in a research laboratory. So we
Okay.
work in the neuroscience domain. We do experiments with healthy participants, and but it's focused on research. No, so I don't see patients. I don't do any diagnosis of any disease. No? And my idea is to this year to apply to a clinical position. So my idea is to have a full time job working as a physician, as a seeing patients, diagnosing diseases, and giving treatments.
Yeah.
But I would like to do on a side also keep doing research, keep doing collaborating with some colleagues on some articles or publications for the moment as a resident, and then in the future maybe once I become a neurologist to have a laboratory where I can propose some research questions and also to see patients on the side. That would be my ideal job.
Okay, and that's neuroscience, right? Do you want to
That
specialize? Okay.
Yes, in neuroscience, not neurology. Mhm.
Yeah. So the residency that you're mentioning now, it's at the hospital in Lausanne that you're doing?
So actually, I have not started with the residency yet.
Okay.
I'm going to apply in the next months, actually. But right now, I'm basically working as a researcher, as a postdoctoral researcher in the hospital. So our laboratory is affiliated to Lausanne University and is located inside the eye hospital of Lausanne.
Okay. You want to specialize in neuroscience, you said. And what is that would you would like to achieve in neuroscience? Do you have already an idea on a specific topic on your postdoctoral phase of life?
That's a very good question. Actually, no, I don't have right now a special topic. No, I am interested in, for example, the stroke rehabilitation and also in
Mm.
degenerative diseases. No, but at the moment, I don't have like a special topic or a special question that I would like to address at the moment. Right now, I'm more like looking actually to do different collaborations in the spectrum of neuroscience in order to find out actually that topic that I would like to dedicate my research in the future. No?
Okay, excellent. We were touching before on some skills that are required when studying medicine and then becoming a doctor.
Mhm.
Can you mention a couple more on the soft side, on the hard side, like soft skills and hard skills, of this job?
Well, in the clinical part, definitely in the soft part, I mean, it's important to be very resilient and perseverant and also patient because, I mean, in medicine, there are going to be a lot of moments of frustration and very tough and hard moments. I mean, dealing with patients, dealing with their diseases and their conditions. And also because it's a long career, no?
Yeah.
And there are difficult moments, no? When actually you question yourself what I'm doing with my life somehow, no? So it's very important to be consistent, to persevere, and to be very resilient. No, every time that you touch like base, no, touch like the ground, it's always important to stand up and to continue. No? That's something very
Mm,
important.
okay.
Also, it's important to be, I mean, to have a touch with patient, no, with people. No? But that's something that also depending on how do you feel, how anybody feels like close to people or not. I mean, you can choose different specializations. No? For
Yeah.
example, people that maybe are more introverted and they don't like to deal too much with people, they might choose some careers like are more like pathology, for example, radiology, no? That you don't deal every time with the patients. No?
Mm,
So it depends. So there are some spectrums that you can choose based on your personality, based on your characteristics. No?
yeah. Okay. Is there something you have learned along the way that you wish to share that others could benefit from?
Well, one important thing is to the importance of networking and doing collaborations. No, that's something very important. I mean, it might sound kind of obvious, but actually, it's very important. It's going to help everybody in their career in general. You never know when you're going to actually need the help of someone in order to boost your career. That's something very important because research and also clinical work is a community work. No, it's a teamwork. No, so it's important to learn to work in teams. And also something very interesting that I would like to share is to, especially when you are very young, it's important to try to expose yourself to different disciplines or to different domains, no? Not only in the field of medicine, but also try to learn more about engineer, about social science, because at the end, all of this combination of domains are going to provide ideas to and is going to enhance creativity. No, I think that that's something very important because when I was young, I mean, the people that were surrounding me had the idea that you have to focus only one thing and be like specialize on one specific thing. No, but I feel that now the world is changing towards a more multidisciplinary world, no, where actually it's
Yeah.
very important to share ideas and to have different backgrounds. No? So I think that's something that I will have liked to do before. No?
Yeah. Great. And are there any myths of the job?
Well, I mean, normally they say that when you're a doctor, you become somehow insensitive, no, or more
Mm.
colder, no. I think that depends on the person. I mean, that's not something that happens to everybody. I think that we learn somehow to not get too closer to the patients in order to be affected personally or in our feelings somehow. But that should not avoid us to be close to the patients, like to give support to them. No? And unfortunately, that's something that we don't learn in the medical school. That's something that we learn with life, no.
Yeah,
So,
for
but it's
sure.
always good to remind, no, that we should never forget that actually we are dealing with people, no, that has like sense, that has feelings, no, and that they are dealing with a hard moment, no, when they go to the hospital. No?
Before I finish, is there anything else you would like to share with us today?
No, I think that's everything I will have like to say, no. I mean
Mm.
the importance of the importance of following also what your dream, no, or what you would like to do, no, because
Mm.
in my case I took like an explore path, I will say, no. I mean, I normally my friends and colleagues they took the common path of going out of medical school and then do their specialization and so on. Now they are a specialist at this moment. In my case, I took an explore path. No, I decided to come to Switzerland to do research first, and then go back to the clinical path. And even though some people might think that you are crazy somehow, it's important to follow your guts, no, or
Mm.
follow your
Yes,
your
yeah,
your
your
heart. No?
guts and your calling. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
So thank you very much. It's been very good to talk to you, Stefano, and I wish you all the best. And hopefully you can find your way through the neuroscience findings and discoveries in the future.
No, thank you very much, Laura, for this opportunity. It has been very interesting to talk with you, and I like very much what you are doing with this podcast, actually, about job tales.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stefano says that if you want to be a doctor, you need to be ready to study a lot, to read a lot, to memorize a lot, to use your critical thinking, and to learn to be detached enough from your patients but not getting too detached, hence finding the right balance. Definitely not an easy job for sure, but very, very much needed. If you know specialized doctors who would like to be interviewed and share their experience, write me please at jobtalespodcast@gmail.com. Bye for now.